Habs fans, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but here I am. And regarding juraj slafkovsky, and look, I know that we're all so excited to see this guy play. Finally got his first goal, showed a bunch of emotion and some showmanship, hey? Like the stuff he was doing with the pucks, like, oh, I'm going to throw it over here, I'm going to throw it over here. And like the stuff he did in Josh Brown's face and the tongue out and everything, like some showmanship being shown by him, which, hey, I'm sure everybody in Habs land loves it because it makes him more marketable, more interesting as a character, not just this cardboard cutout who goes out and plays hockey like a robot. No, like he's got a personality, and I'm happy that he was showing it. But unfortunately, some bad news on this front. As you'll know, I'm sure, Slafkovsky did not play the last game. There is some suspicion, there's some rumblings that it might be a concussion for him, which, if that's the case, look, too many people, not even just in hockey, but in our society, undermine the gravity of concussions. Concussions are a very serious injury. Okay, when you get a concussion and it messes with your brain, that's very serious stuff. It should be taken as much more serious, much more damaging than they are, like seriously. So, hey, if it's a concussion, I'm praying and hoping for the best for juraj slafkovsky. But I've got some bad news to relay to you guys. From Renaud Lavoie, juraj slafkovsky won't play tomorrow, that being tonight's game that the Habs are playing. We should know more about how long he'll be out on Wednesday. Now, to me, if they're not coming out and saying, oh, day-to-day, and they're pushing it off and saying, ooh, hey, look, we're going to have to wait a couple of days from when this was posted, this tweet, to know how long he'll be out for. Yes, that means he's going through evaluations, he's going through medical tests and that type of thing. But to me, that's not really a good sign. I mean, if they would have come out and say, hey, day-to-day, still not sure, might play tonight, might not, game time decision, then it's a different story. But to say, hey, he's not going to play for certain and we won't know about his condition more until Wednesday, that's bad news, man. That means that this thing could be relatively serious, which for a rookie who was just starting to find his footing in the National Hockey League, man, is that bad news. Because this is the type of thing, an injury like this, especially if you're not used to playing in the NHL to begin with, coming back from an injury and having to find your footing in the NHL where you're already not comfortable and having to readjust from an injury, it adds an extra layer of difficulty that honestly, that makes it so, to me, this is terrible Habs news. Because if it was one game, 2 games max like tonight, then I'm saying, okay, maybe it's okay. He can still kind of find his footing. He can get back on his 2 feet here. But, hey, if they're going to reevaluate him, he's going to be out for days or even, God forbid, weeks. Juraj slafkovsky might be injured here. Who knows? It's a different story. It's not the best news for sure. And look, for a guy who in his first few games, let's be real, he struggled, okay? Like, let's not sugarcoat it here. Juraj slafkovsky was not world beating in his first few games in the National Hockey League. Even against the Arizona Coyotes, he looked better. Still not up to par to where he wants to be, I'm sure. So this is just going to throw an extra wrench in there, and I don't want him to be a bust, and I don't think he's a bust, but I do think that he also needs things to go right. Like, look at Shane Wright. We talked about it in the video the other day, how Shane Wright is just getting shafted by the Kraken, it feels like, as far as ice time and deployment over there. So for juraj slafkovsky, for him to kind of work his way up the ranks and play with better players, get more ice time, I'm still advocating. I'm going to be banging that drum until he gets sent to the Laval Rocket or stays with the team. Put him on the power play ASAP. Even if it's PP Unit 2, give him some reps, some chances to practice playing on the power play. I mean, with that size, like, what is juraj slafkovsky? He's like 7'6", 400 pounds. Put him in front of the net. That is where he should be. Let him work on deflecting pucks. Let him get in the gritty areas. Okay, get his nose dirty a little bit. Tip pucks home. Rebounds. I think he could really make a living in front of the net on the power play, screening the goaltender. But that's a topic for another video. I want him to get back on the ice in general and as soon as possible, but I also want him to be okay. I mentioned if this is a concussion, let the kid heal completely, and you know that he's going to want to rush. He's going to want to get back on the ice as soon as possible. With brain injuries, you really don't want that to happen. You want him to fully heal before he hits the ice again. So to me, I want him to fully heal, but I hope he can be back on the ice playing for the Habs as soon as possible here, because I want him to keep going with his audition to stay with the Montreal Canadiens for this entire season, because hey, he was on the upswing, and I really, really hope we're going to see what kind of guts this guy has between the ears. What does he have as far as tenacity, as far as perseverance, you know what I mean? Like coming back from an injury and saying, hey, you know what? This is not going to do anything to me. Just a tiny bump in the road. I'm going to get back to exactly where I was, and I'm going to keep going upwards. And I hope that's what happens with him. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. I'm sorry I didn't have any better news. See you in the next one. Peace out.